Welcome to Celebrity Grave Hunting. Today's tip, tick repellent. Welcome to Celebrity Grave Hunting. I am your host, Ryan. I am so excited that you came along to join me on another adventure today. The weather is beautiful. Let's go on a hunt. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. So, I must sincerely apologize. I have not filmed a grave hunting adventure since February. Well, I have been suffering with Lyme's disease pretty aggressively. Got taken down by the Lyme disease in the spring. Swollen knees, swollen hips, swollen ankles, swollen jaw, swollen eye. Had a bunch of fluid drained out of me. Had a bunch of blood taken and tested multiple times because they didn't find Lyme disease first time out. So that's why we're bringing tick wipes. Even though the odds of getting bit by a tick again are very slim, I am not taking chances. I've only been walking without the aid of a cane now for about 2 weeks. It was pretty bad there for a while. Stuck in bed for 2 months is not as awesome as it may sound. So I have been looking forward to doing this for a while, if you can imagine. We are on our way to Long Ridge Cemetery, just outside of Stamford, Connecticut. If you're at all familiar with Stamford, Connecticut, it's northwest of the city proper. The route we take, we don't actually see the city at all. We're that far removed from it. We are visiting two trailblazers today. They did not know each other, they did not work together, but they were trailblazers indeed in the entertainment field. The whole world would seem to adapt around what these two individuals did naturally. We are going to be seeing Benny Goodman and Gilda Radner. Who is Benny Goodman? Well, easily he is a famed clarinet player, band leader of orchestras. He was a leader of trios, octets, quads. I mean, he had a very lengthy career. Born Benjamin David Goodman, that's what we will be looking for in his tombstone, but we know him simply as Benny Goodman. Born May 30th, 1909, the 9th of 12 children in the slums of Chicago. As a child, his family went to free concerts in the park, and this sparked an interest in music. At age 10 in 1919, he was learning clarinet in synagogues with two of his older brothers, progressing so much that he actually got a union card at the early age of 13. Later on in life, he said playing was his escape from poverty. Over the course of the 1920s, mind you, this was all while he was still going to school, he was progressing and went from sideman to band leader. Playing with Tommy Dorsey and Glenn Miller in 1928 for a Victor recording session really cemented his career as a serious talent. Signing to Columbia Records in 1934, he had numerous top 10 hits and was soon signed to a radio contract. 1935, he released the song The King Porter Stomp, and some say was the official beginning of the swing era. In 1938, Benny and his band played New York's Carnegie Hall. and the press hailed it as a coming-of-age moment, the first time jazz and pop music were played in Carnegie Hall. Notably, Benny was colorblind towards music. Hiring black musicians, he was performing with a desegregated band a decade before baseball was desegregated. Now think about that. In the 1940s, he reigned supreme of swing, transferring with the times into bebop and working with classical musicians later in his career. He continued playing his clarinet for audiences up to 6 days prior to his death on June 13th, 1986 of a heart attack in his sleep. 77 years old. So we will be paying our respects to him. Benny Goodman, the king of swing, legend in life, not forgotten in death. And then we will be paying our respects to Gilda Radner. Who is Gilda Radner? Well, comedian, actress, writer, dancer, singer, all those apply aptly. She was born June 28th, 1946 in Detroit, Michigan, and she had an upbringing with wealth. She had a nanny growing up, but it was as a child that she began a lifelong battle with eating disorders. Initially, she was going for a degree in education, but she dropped out of the University of Michigan her senior year and followed her boyfriend at the time to Toronto. It was there in 1972 that she began acting, soon joining the Toronto chapter of Second City's Comedy Club, and then in 1974 becoming a featured player on National Lampoon Radio Hour. The following year, she began her tenure as a debut member on Saturday Night Live. From 1975 to 1980 on SNL as one of the original 7 not ready for primetime players. She experienced a juggernaut of fame few have ever experienced before or since. Characters such as Rosanna, Candy Slice, The Judy Miller Show, The Nerds. She redefined physical comedy of what was acceptable for a woman to do. Gilda could be the sweet, charming prom princess. She could make herself look ugly. She could throw herself into a wall if need be. She was limitless. After SNL, she starred in a one-woman Broadway show called Gilda, live from Broadway. In the 1980s, she had a mostly disappointing career in Hollywood on the big screen, though she did meet her true love, Gene Wilder, on the set of Hanky Panky, and they wed in 1984. In 1986, after a long period of fatigue, Gilda was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer, ultimately taking her after a few periods of remission on May 20th, 1989, with her husband Gene at her side. She was only 42. Gilda Radner's widower, Gene Wilder, the original Willy Wonka, he passed on in 2016. His ashes were cremated and given to family. That is as far as all we know, though there are those who speculate, myself included, that some of his ashes were laid on top of Gilda's final resting place. That has not been confirmed nor denied, so we are just going to be saying hi to Gilda officially. And Benny Goodman. We are here at Long Ridge Cemetery, northwest of Stamford, Connecticut. Now, if I counted correctly, there were 1, 2, 3. I came in the 4th entrance. There's only one side of the cemetery that you can come in from, and you have to sort of come in the 4th entrance, and it's like a horseshoe. Winds you out that way. There is a 5th entrance, and it sort of has a roundabout further down. But if you come to the roundabout, you went too far. Come up, and the easiest way to do it, I've been trying to avoid it, but find this weird statue with half naked and fully naked little boys. I was trying to keep this a family grave hunting show, but here we are. Unfortunately, that's going to be the focal point. Or not the focal point, but the easiest way to find Benny and Gilda. So let's do that. Make an immediate right. Start walking. What I said about most cemeteries don't have trees does not hold water for this one. Pardon for the plane overhead. Easy way to find Benny is he's right in front of this little, very small bench that has sort of fallen down over time. He's about third row in from the wood line, all the way in the back. If you can see, there's a little tiny bench that's sort of fallen down. Benny David Goodman, 1909 to 1986. Benny Goodman, the King of Swing. His wife Alice, and one of his sisters, Ethel. Legend in life, not forgotten in death. Okay, to find Gilda, come back from which we came. Thank God for the shade, it's kind of hot out. If you ever want to just go for a walk and not be bothered, come to a cemetery. That's how I actually started doing this. Just strolling through my local cemeteries. Alright. To find Gilda. Creepy boy statue. Continue down this path as if you are exiting. My suggestion is follow the little shrubberies. Or not little shrubberies anymore. About midway in this lane right here, you see this shrub. And do you see that tree right past it? Gilda is right in front of it. She has a bench so we can sit and pay some respect. Gilda Radner Wilder, comedian, ballerina, 1946 to 1989. Right up there it says, "I had a great time." Legend in life, not forgotten in death. Please like and subscribe. That way you can join us on our next adventure.